Hello, Mrs. Houston here with our Regents Review. Question 5, which relation is a function? So remember, for something to be a function, every input has to have exactly one output, or the x values, to put it in a way to where it's easier to actually check, the x values can't repeat. Okay? So when you have something like 1, 2, and 4, it's really nice because it's pretty easy for you to see the x values, okay? Remember when you have an ordered pair, like in question 1, the x coordinate is the first number, okay? So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Do any of those x values repeat? All right, real quick, let's take a look at number 2. Another word for the x values is the inputs, and another word for the y value is the outputs. So if we are thinking about the x values, we're concerned only about these inputs, okay? And notice here, the same input repeats with 2 different outputs, or the same x repeats with 2 different y's, okay? So that is not a function. Number 4, if we take a look, domain, another word for domain, or I'm sorry, it's a domain is just another way to say the x values, and the range is another word for the y values, okay? So if you look here, we see that the 6 has 2 different arrows going to 2 different y values, so it's not a function. Now I kind of skipped over 1, but I said, do the x values repeat? And hopefully you were thinking, no. I think I got a little excited and I just kept going. So number 1 is the correct answer. The last thing I want to talk about is the vertical line test. I'm going to abbreviate that, VLT, vertical line test. If you draw a vertical line, it cannot touch more than 1 time. That's like the x value repeating. Okay, so you see here it touches a vertical line 2 times, which makes it not a function. All right, number 6, what is the value of the third quartile in the box plot shown below? Okay, so we are looking for the third quartile, and I got an image here that I wanted to show you that shows how a box plot works. So each part is 25%. Notice it's split into 4 sections. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that. But the third quartile is what it said, right? Yep, it said the third quartile. That's the upper quartile, or quartile 3. So we're looking for this line right here. The one in the middle is the median, the lower quartile, and then we have the minimum and the maximum. So it's basically just some vocabulary. We have to know where each section was, but it kind of makes sense. So here we have our minimum. This is our first quartile. I'm going to put 1Q. This is the middle, or the fancy word for that is median. Okay, here's the third quartile. And then here is our maximum. So it's just a way to take data and split it up into 4 sections, and each section represents 25% of the data. Now, you know, maybe there's a bigger box here, but it's still, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get into too much detail there. But the third quartile, we can see, is right here. So if we follow this line down, we're right here. All right, so, you know, we know it's not 18 or 22, and actually we can eliminate 46 too, because that's too high. All right, I was going to say you could definitely tell it's 30 something, and you have to figure out the scale. But if this is 32 and this is 38, it's a difference of 4, right? And there's 2 lines in the middle, so 4 divided by 2 would mean each line is worth 2. So this is 34 right here, this is 36, and then 38. Okay, but the third quartile line, that edge of the box that we drew, is at 36.